We are back. We might as well get started with the Southgate debacle. It's been a week after the final. Gavin was probably laughing with his kilt on and his blue face paint. I don't really want to go on about the game, if that's all right. If we could just cover the big story, which is Southgate obviously decided to pack it up. Who's in? Who's next? He's gone.
For me, I don't see you getting Eddie Howe out of Newcastle, so it's got to be Graham Potter, I would say. Fair enough, the Chelsea performance wasn't amazing, but I think that's because the Chelsea team was too big a jump for him to handle. I think the football he played at Brighton, I think he played good football with the players he had. I think.
Do you think at the time when he was at Potter? I think we've had this discussion. I get the feeling like he took the job too early. Do you think he's more scrutinised at Chelsea because of the takeover in that than he will be at England, or do you think England's the most scrutinised job going?
I think the problem is the England job is you're never really going to get any sort of shield from the limelight. Look at Southgate. Like, all right, okay, we didn't play the best football this tournament, and I'll back that. But I don't think a lot of the big teams did.
No.
And then he's been our most successful manager ever, really, other than the one that won the World Cup. So other than that, he is our most successful manager, and he has got nothing.
Can I just run through the front runners? Is that okay? And then I actually want Gavin's opinion because obviously you're not English, so I want to kind of get your opinion on it as well. The front runners is Eddie Howe's the favourite, although I think he's rebutted this week that he isn't that interested, or he wouldn't be interested until the project's done at Newcastle. Second in line is Potter. Third in line is Lee Carsley, who doesn't know, is the under-21s manager, I believe, at England right now. And then Jurgen Klopp. I know her surname, Weigmann, the women's Lioness manager, made her intentions clear as well. Apparently, she's not in the full run-ins. Does it need to be an Englishman?
Yes. In my opinion, it does. I think, so I probably said, and Gavin, I would assume, would agree with this, right? When it comes to England and Scotland, I think when it comes to knowing your international rivalries as well as your local ones, I think it helps if you've got a national manager. I think having a foreign manager, as much as Jurgen Klopp's an unbelievable manager. Look at what he's done at Liverpool, but I don't know whether he'd understand the England team as well as say a Graham Potter or an Eddie Howe, who are both Englishmen.
Go on, Gav.
I'm just going to rule him out. By the way, Klopp is not the next one. He could have took the German job, and he chose not to.
He has always said he wants to manage internationally. I don't see him managing with England.
No,
as I say, he could have Germany.
Yeah. It would be very weird for a German to turn down the Germany job and then go on and I'll manage England.
I'm going to play devil's advocate. The rivalry thing, is that not part of our problem? You look at that Scotland game in Euro 2020, we played the occasion and not the team. Mm-hmm. Is that not the problem with English managers? If you have a Jurgen Klopp, he ain't going to care, right? It's just another 11 on the pitch.
I think yes and no, because I think, yes, you're right. You don't play it's got to be a catch-22 because it's like a derby, isn't it? So I think, yes, you've got to understand the rivalry, but I think, you've got to play it as in, well, this game matters and turn up, not get all psyched by the head side of it. I think the rivalry does matter.
I think it also looks bad upon the manager if they play the occasion rather than the game in front of them. Like, you should really have...
Which shows naiveness, doesn't it?
It's not even so much naivety. It's just the fact that he's like... I don't know, it's like he's more focused on beating that one team than winning the whole tournament. Or Euros or World Cup, whatever it may be. I think you see it with Arteta, with Pep. He plays Pep, he doesn't play the game. You see it with Steve Clark, when at fucking anybody... He decides he wants to beat the team rather than win anything. And I think that was Southgate's problem. He was too busy upon the big occasions rather than winning the whole thing.
If you gave me a perfect scenario, I mean, I'd love Klopp, but I'm also against having a German at the top of England. When I mean a German, not just German, I mean any non-Englishman at the top of... I wasn't a fan, back in the early 2000s, and it was like, get Alex Ferguson in at England. I'm not a fan of that. I want an Englishman at the helm of England. My ideal scenario would, if Lee Carsley, the under-21s manager, wants to look after the main men's team, if Eddie Howe expresses interest to join at the end of the next season, I would take that because Lee Carsey has international experience and get Eddie Howe in. I don't believe.
But so did Southgate.
Yeah, no, completely no. But what I mean is, Eddie Howe's actually got Premier League experience. He's played at the top level against the top managers. This sort of like, but then I guess you look at the other way. This De La Fuente, who won for Spain the Euros last week, he literally has no club experience from the last 10 years. He's been the under 19s, under 21s, under 23s. We won the World Cup the exact same way in '66. The manager came from the under 21s. So is that the way of doing it? I don't know.
Quite possibly.
It's either got to be one of the two, innit? It's either you've got to have the expertise and like have dealt with the pressure of the top games, or I think you're right. I think you've got to have nursed the players up. I don't know, but I agree. I think it should be an Englishman. I'd be.
How many AAA managers get into international football as well? How many like? What I mean is by that is, could you? As I said, I don't particularly like any non-Englishman being touted for the job, but even someone that would say, some people would say over the hill, would you consider Mourinho? Or is he still too good for international football? What I mean that is, you look at Joachim Low won the World Cup, De La Fuente won the Euros just now. Mancini, okay, he had a good club career, but he had a good club managerial career, but it was over by that time. Is it for managers that are over the hill with clubs and have done their stuff with clubs to then go into internationals to try a new avenue?
I think it's a different set of goals. I think when you're looking at international, because of how spaced out the tournaments are, I think it's very much a development role as well. I think it's very much, well, I want to show you 10 years of what I can do at a job. Whereas I think a club role now, especially who sat like 12 managers in one season, Watford or someone like it. I think that how short club roles can be now.
4 in one season, Ben. It wasn't 12, but I get
you know what I mean. Like how quick a manager's role can drop in a club now. I think the amount of time that they get in international jobs now, I don't think you have to be past it. I just think you have to be looking for a very different career path.
So basically, international management is like the MLS for players. They just go there to ride off into the sunset. And
yeah, I kind of look at it.
Is that what you were saying?
No, for managers, not for players. For managers, I kind of look at it and I don't know. What I mean is, right, is Pep Guardiola's not going to leave Man City to go do the England job.
No.
He'll go to another club.
Yeah,
and also as well, I'm a firm believer, and this may be a well unpopular opinion, Pep Guardiola wouldn't be very good as an international manager unless he'd manage someone like a Spain, because I don't think he'd get enough time with the players to implement his style unless it's running through the whole system, the national system. I'd have the Klopp, I think, would, because it's not simplistic, but it's very high energy counter press. We do that already, or we have that system kind of in the lower teams. But no, I don't think like when you look at the top managers, I don't think the top 5 managers in the world go, you know what, let's do international management. Why is Ancelotti still at Real Madrid? He could easily do the Italian job. He doesn't want to.
I think if you look at it, if you look at them individually, and you look at Potter, like almost brilliant at Brighton, bit lackluster at Chelsea. Good, don't know. Frank Lampard, he has been mentioned, just not before. I know you don't want him. He was half decent but there's a common theme. He was half decent at Derby, quite good, to then go to Chelsea and a bit lackluster. You've got Eddie Howe that has a good season and a half with teams and then just decides to fucking die. I think Eddie Howe's your best one because internationally you don't play that often. You play 2 games in March, 2 in June, some qualifiers September to November. He's got that break, rather than you've got 38 games for a season, plus an FA Cup, plus a Champions League if they get into it, or did get into it.
I get the feeling that, see, the problem with we'll go into, if it's okay with yous, I'd like to go into the problem that I want to go over Southgate's tenure, but what I want to see from my next manager before we go into that is, I look at that Spain team, right, and this may be a completely unpopular opinion, but that Spain team on paper wouldn't even get maybe 3 players in that England squad to play Sunday night. I'm not being big-headed or self-expecting, but let's be serious right now. That England team is probably the best national team, arguing probably in Europe with maybe France, and that's it. That Spain team is littered with over-the-hill players, but that De La Fuente gets everything out of those players. We seem to we had to resort to Bellingham going on left wing to get Foden into the game. We seem to get this non-100%, and me and Ben have been used for it our whole life, playing Paul Scholes at left mid. We never seem to get the 100%. We never seem to get club form at international level, I think is what I'm saying.
Do you not think that's the argument against the experience, against the talent side of it? Yeah, Danny Carvajal, right? I as a player, right, I cannot stand him, right? But I'll give him his dues, right? He's in that team to do one thing. He instills confidence to the younger players, and he's tactical. He's smart enough and he's experienced enough. When he goes, right, tell you what, lads, I'll take the yellow for this. Brings a player down in the transition. I think we lack that. Yeah, but I think we've got that with Trippier. But you look across the field, right? Declan Rice is guilty of being naive at times.
Oh, it was shit.
In all honesty.
Sorry, but it was so bad.
He just didn't seem to be able to read where he's meant to be on the pitch. I genuinely think that as a team, yeah, I agree with you. On paper, you look at the England squad.
I'm going to back in here because I'm only 23 years of age. And England's problem, as much as I've watched them, has been the same with every manager that's came in, with all the players that have passed, gone, future. You have abundance of talent. Saka, Foden, Bellingham, Rice, Gahey, even Pickford, he is a good keeper internationally. They can't play together. And it was the same with Gerrard, Scholes, fucking Neville when he was there. They're all good. They just can't seem to play together. It's like the big-headedness of, we're here. We seem to be the only nation
that we seem to be the only nation that goes, we're going to try and get everyone on the pitch, and if it doesn't work, I'll tell you what. I saw a quote before the Euros, right? It was from who used to do soccer AM, Ben, grey hair, long hair, ex-Wigan striker. Jimmy Bullard. He went, mate, not systems, just chuck the players on and play football. It doesn't work.
No.
You have France, right? France literally sat out before the Euros. I don't think Saliba played 90 minutes for the French team most of the time.
Didn't.
Saliba's been one of the best centre-backs in the world.
Saliba did. I thought there was only one game he didn't, but anyway, continue, sorry.
But what I'm saying is literally Deschamps came out and said Saliba's sound like too big-headed or doesn't fit the system or something. Mate, he's one of the best centre-backs in the world, and he's just dropping him due to the fact that he doesn't think he fits the system. Southgate arguably played Kane for 4 years when he knew Kane wasn't the striker for him. It's not a dig at Kane, admitting he's the best number 9 in the world, in my opinion. But if he isn't going to fit the system, just don't play him. I don't mind.
I think that's the fear, mate. We're too afraid to drop these big names, and I think when you see Tony and Watkins, both of the appearances that they both made, right? They were so hungry to be on the pitch, and they were so ready for. And I think that's where you're right with that Spain team. It's not about, well, I want 90 minutes for England every bloody game, and it don't matter. And if I don't get it, I'm going to kick off. No, it should be, we've got the win, lads. It doesn't matter whether you played 10 minutes or whether you played the entire 120, right? And for me, if I'm a sub and I come on for England in the last 10 minutes and I score a goal, I've done more than half you got in the 90 minutes.
Yeah, I like Tony's reaction. Tony came on, and apparently, if you go off Southgate after the game, I think it was against Slovakia, apparently he was raging that he went on the last 5 minutes. He went, I'm only getting fucking 5 minutes to Southgate. And you're like, I like the hunger.
Yeah, I don't
mind.
But I think we need a manager that's got the bottle and the balls to turn around and go, sorry, Kane, you're getting dropped, mate. You've been crap.
What I mean is, it's like...
I think I tend to disagree. Because you did see it towards the end, because I think Southgate just got fucking sick of it. He went, Kane, you're the best striker we've got. Hands down. There's no question. But fuck, you're not doing your job, get the fuck off. You saw it in the final, 60 minutes, got taken off.
No, but Gav, he's asking him to do something he can't do.
No, but what I'm saying, and that's what I'm getting to. Southgate's not afraid of the backlash, he's afraid of losing. And you saw it in every final. Italy and Spain, he was too afraid to lose, and he didn't want to take his best players off. Even though they might not be, as you're saying, doing the job that he's trying to implement. That falls on him, but it also falls on Kane too. Kane should turn around and go, fuck it, this isn't working, lads. Let's actually show him what is going to work. No. And then Southgate can't turn on and go, nah, fuck, we're not doing that.
No, I'd agree with you, but my thing is, it's like, it was so obvious. If you're going to play Saka and Foden on either side, right? I mean, you watch Saka on a weekly basis. Saka doesn't go to the byline. That isn't his job at Arsenal. He never does it, or does it very rarely. Ben White is the overlapping fullback. So why are you playing a slow number 9 with no runners in behind? He's not going to get any space. He's going to have to drop into midfield to pick the ball up. This is a geezer that actually broke the Bundesliga record and got the golden boot. And you can't get him in a working system. If you can't get him in a system you want to play, which is it's Gareth Southgate's way of playing, in my opinion. The players need to adapt to how he wants to play. Then if he can't work in that system, take him off. Tony was a ready-made replacement to go in that Southgate system, and he didn't put him in, and it was a failure, to be honest with you.
I genuinely feel sorry for some of the players that didn't really get any time. Like and no fault to Trippier, by the way. I think playing out of position for the entire tournament, I do think he played well. But I think there's a couple of teams that found him out. Well, like we've had, how many times have we have this conversation when you sit there and you go, Gomez has been playing left back for Liverpool. Why not just put him on? He's young. He's a decent player. Get him on.
It's like the Foden argument. People moaning about him being left back, and you're like left wing, sorry, and you're like, oh well, he ain't overlapping. I don't think he's overlapped for about 3 years at Man City. He ain't even been left wing at Man City for about 3 years. He needs an overlapper to create space on the inside of the fullback and centre back.
You know what would it possibly resolve the whole issues? Instead of playing wingers that are further out, play forwards. Play right forward and left forward in Harry Kane.
It worked. It worked in the back three. It worked in the back three. But he changed it every fucking time. As soon as he went in the back three, at half time he went into the back four, played Luke Shaw, and then we lost control.
Like
because I'm not being funny.
To lose.
And you sit on a weekly basis, Gav, with Declan Rice, and I've seen it for 7 years with Declan Rice. He's not a Rodri. He doesn't recycle the ball. He doesn't pass forward. That isn't his knack. He needs to be a box-to-box number 8 if he's going to be sound like that. And he needs to do those driving runs. That's his physicality is his best asset.
He needs someone solid behind him so he's not thinking or overthinking or overreacting. Oh, fuck, I need to sit in midfield and play out. Because that just isn't him. But I think you saw Martin Zubimendi. That is somebody that England sort of needs. Like that mould of a player. I have him. Wharton. Okay. I've been hesitant just because I've only watched him for 1 year and he's only had one good Premier League season. I'm not too sure.
My argument would be though, if you've got a group stage of Slovakia, Slovenia, and who, Ben?
Oh, you putting it on me now? Yeah, Denmark, wasn't it?
No, Denmark was out of it, was it not?
I don't know why you can't play. I don't know why you can't play an Adam Wharton in a number 6 with Declan Rice further up and then a Bellingham and then try it out for 45 minutes. I don't know why there's never any trial period.
Me and Ben said that right at the start, I think, after your first game. This is the time you change it. You don't change it in the final. You don't change it in the semis. You change it when it doesn't really matter because we all know England are getting out of the group.
It's not to be big-headed, but yeah, exactly. Like, not being funny. Compared to Slovenia, you really tend to... I don't know wrong, Slovenia made it hard in the knockout stages, but at the end of the day, are you joking? It's fucking Slovenia. I thought Jude Bellingham, by the way, has come under criticism. I think people need to get a grip. He's been playing fucking left wing for half the tournament. I mean, I'm not being funny. Like,
I think he needs to kind of get back in his box a bit. I think he's a world-class talent. I really do. But I think he was showing how much of a fucking knob he actually is.
Mm-hmm,
I think his big-headedness overshowed his performances. And I think that's also a reason why he's getting all this backlash.
I think it was frustration, mate. I think it was the fact that I think you saw it when he scored that goal and he went, who else? And I think when you look at it, you're like, because half the team at times looked asleep, mate. And I
think he was actively not happy with the system as well. Why would you want to play left wing? I don't think he's happy. Is he not allowed to say he's not happy?
No, that's not. No, it was in the game. It was most of the stuff in the game. I'm sorry, the celebration he got fined with doing the wanker sign, and he's come out and went, "Oh, I just did it to my mates." That's funny because somebody else, I think it was Foden, when his goal was
absolutely to the bench. Yeah.
He done it the next game. Yeah. I'm sorry, that shouldn't be tolerated by Southgate. I'm sorry. No. If he turns on and goes, "Oh, it was to my mates." All right, no, cheers, mate. No, fuck off. You deserve to get some sort of repercussion. It's just his demeanour. It was so like, I'm Bellingham, look at me, I'll play for Madrid now. Give me the ball. I'll do wonders with it. Yeah, he scored one bicycle kick. Fantastic. Well done. You got used into the final. Or got used further onto the tournament. But
I think overall, I think
was stinking.
I think you probably look at it and it was a 50-50. 50% of it's the players and 50% of it's Southgate system. I mean, I think the players are better than what they showed, but at the same time, if you're using players in such a weird way, I mean, Saka played left back at one point. You just like he ain't played for about 5 years. It's just it's not.
That's in Slumberg.
And I'm not going to lie to you, mate. He didn't look brilliant out there, but he looked really, really uncomfortable. Do you know what I mean? But I don't blame him. I was just, I don't know. But
I'm going to pass a question on to you two. Sorry. It just popped into my head. If you're a Premier League star, you're to your West Ham, Jared Bowen, are you going to think when the next time comes up to possibly be picked for England, you're actually going to give a fuck about it? Because he had a good season last season, and he just rotted on the bench. So what's the point? Yeah, what's the point?
This is where I think. Obviously, I'm not a manager at international level, but this is where I think the best managers get the best use out of the squads. This is why I was trying to use the French team, because sometimes they didn't use Griezmann. Tuchel and Camavinga were on the bench. You had so much quality on the bench, and then you started using Dembele sometimes, and you didn't, and you started kind of. He done it to systems, and like if you know there's a low block and Kane needs runners, put Gordon and Bowen on either side. They're not being able bench Saka and Foden for the first 60 minutes. All right, it might not be popular with the Arsenal fans and the Man City fans, but it's about winning. I don't give a fuck about what's popular.
I think it goes out the window. I think unless you're dead against international football and you're like, fuck it. I think it doesn't matter. Arsenal, Chelsea, Spurs, West Ham, Man City. You want your international team to win. It doesn't matter if Saka plays fucking 4 minutes one game and plays 94 the next. As long as you go far and actually win it, no one gives a shit. I think it's now the fact that you haven't won it, it's all, Saka shouldn't have played this much. Why did Bowen not get a shout? Why did Foden play this position? You know what I mean? If he's had won it, it'd be the case of, well done. Like, you know what I mean?
I would like to put in there as well, by the way, Pochettino's on the list of being a recommendation for the England job, and I do not want that. Just putting that out there. He's always been the bridesmaid and never the bride, and I'm just not interested in that. And he's an ex-Spurs manager, and he can't win anything to save his life. Just to go over
30 though, isn't he?
Sorry?
Kane's now 30.
Nah, 30. He's 30, 31, something like that. Yeah, he would only be at one more tournament, I would think, and that'll be him.
So second, would this possibly be his last? Depending.
Depends on
I don't know, mate. Do you know what? If I'm Kane, do you know what? He looked really pissed off. To be honest, on most of the tournament, I can understand it. You're asking him to do something. I don't think I've ever seen Kane really be a regular running behind the lines. That's never been his thing. No. He's always been a thing with runners. But I mean, you saw that. I tell you what, perfect example. And I know you're not going to like this. Arsenal Bayern Munich. You saw the best Kane with two runners in behind him, with Musiala and Sane. That first leg, he done bits. He ruined Gabriel and Saliba for 90 minutes, and he just sees world class at what he does. And yeah, I don't know. Looking on to the 8 years of Southgate, are we just happy now that we're going to go out in group stages around the 16s now again, or should we look at what I guess I'm asking is we've not won anything, but should we look at it as going, is it a success?
Yes, yeah, it's a success. He's our most successful. He's effectively, other than us winning it, he's our most successful manager. At least now, when we go out to tournaments, we know we can compete with the bigger teams. And I don't really give a fuck with all the stick that we've been getting, right? Oh, you're too arrogant, you go in it, think you're going to win it. No, we don't. We just know we should be getting out the group stages and we should be getting at knockouts. With the team we've got, theoretically, we should be expecting quarters or semis. That's how it should go. Should we expect a final? No, I don't think you should ever expect a final. It's tournament football. You never know whether you're going to get knocked out. But for me, England's we've got that good a squad at the moment, and he has done the most with the England team that I have ever seen in back-to-back tournaments. I genuinely think that I don't think going into the next tournament that we're going to get loads of stick or we're going to get put out in the group stages. I don't see that happening because we've still got the talent. For me, it depends on the longevity of the manager they bring in. If they bring in someone like Potter, for me, who is my preference, they bring Potter in class because that means
over Howe.
Yeah, I'd say Potter over Howe.
Oh, okay.
I just preferred the football he played at Brighton. And I genuinely think that he
6 and 2 threes.
I genuinely think that if Potter took over, and he's going to be there, and he's going to be there for at least like 5-10 years, then I'd be happy with that. Because I genuinely think that as a team, I expect us to do well. I don't think it was just a kind of well, Southgate got the best out of them, and now we're gonna be put out in every group stage. But one thing I'd like to see from the new manager is beating fucking Iceland. For God's sake, just once would be lovely to put them back in their box.
We haven't played them.
He did do before the Euros.
Yeah.
Oh,
As
okay,
an
sorry,
international
yeah.
friendly.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
of course, yeah, sorry.
That's what I meant.
I was thinking in the
I
tournament, sorry.
I don't care about the tournament. I just want to beat
They just don't
Iceland.
fucking get in.
Yeah.
That's the ironic thing. They don't get in it, but if they did, fuck, you's a fuck.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we get them in the knockout stage. Bomb finger and they're gone.
Success or not success, Gav?
I think Southgate definitely deserves his flowers. I think he does. I think when he came in, I think it was unknown, the uncertainty. He was not good at club level. He was pish. And then he's came in, he's got used to back-to-back finals, and he definitely deserves his flowers for that, but there's definitely some points you need to look at. The past 4 times that you have had less possession than your opponent, you have went out the tournament in the last 4 competitions. That's something that needs to change. And I think Southgate just didn't like change. He just didn't. He liked the way it was set up. That's the way it was going to be. Don't like it, don't fucking play. Ben White, he kind of got the whole stuff in the background. There was the whole... He possibly didn't like the way it was going about. He's voiced it, and he's been told, oh, fuck it. If you're not wanting to play like that, don't fucking play. I think the next manager that comes in, he needs to pick up where the ball was dropped. You need to get to semis. You need to get to final. Next step is winning it. And I think you've got the squad that can. You just need to find that duo on top of the crown to take you higher. And Southgate wasn't that man, in my opinion.
I'm a firm believer that it isn't arrogance to expect this England team to get to a final. When I mean that is, I think if you look at the French media, they thought the same with the French squad. Look at the German media, they thought the same with the German squad. I think we're very much in the zeitgeist of seeing the British media and going, oh, well, is it just England that are expectant? I mean, at the end of the day, you're possibly the best centre midfielder in the world in Jude Bellingham. You have 2 of the best right wingers in the world in Foden and Saka. You're the best number 9 in the world in Kane. If you're not looking at that tournament and going, we topped our group and then going, hang about our hardest game to the Netherlands to the final, yeah, we should be looking at a final. What's wrong with that?
I'm gonna put my tuppence worth in here because I got fucking ridiculed on TikTok. It's the English media that does everybody, and it's not just England that does it. Before people start fucking shouting at me, not here, but on comments and stuff. The Spanish TV, they do it. French TV, they do it. Anyone does it, but the problem is that obviously we live in Britain. It's going to be vocalised everywhere. I think the fans should believe that their team should get to the final and possibly win it. Absolutely. I have no problem with that, because fans can believe whatever the fuck they want. The pundits and stuff need to be a little bit more pundits, because they get paid to have their opinions on TV. They get paid to sit there and watch the fucking game and have their input. They are the reason why myself, anyway, and I'll speak for some Scottish people and not them all, is what really fucks us off, is it's the fact of they should be more, oh, we can get to the final, but what if this happened? It's never that. It's, oh, we're going to spank these, and then we're going to get to the next person, then we're going to spank them, and then we're going to win the whole thing, and then we're going to have an open tour fucking parade and all this. And
I'd agree with you 9/10 of the time. I'd actually say this tournament went the other way. They went really hypercritical all tournament, and then when we got to the final, Micah Richards went, well, we weren't going to win anyway, were we? And you're like, oh, that's a good way of looking at it.
But that's also the problem. They either go one fucking way, or they go the whole fucking other way. It's but you saw it in the commentary as well. Who done the Alan Shearer? He needed to get Luke Shaw's fucking dick out his mouth. Oh, that's his first tackle. He's won that. That's his second one. That's his third. Luke Shaw didn't lose a tackle for it. 6 of the ones he done, and every time it was mentioned, I just kept looking at my dad. He's going to mention it now, and he goes, "Oh, there you go. He's still not lost a tackle yet." Fuck off! Just
he did have an excellent first half, to be fair.
Oh, that's fine, but not every fucking tackle.
No.
Like, that really fucks me off. And I'm an Arsenal fan, and fucking, what was his name, really fucked me off. Was it Lee Dixon?
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
But
Yeah,
the
he's
commentary, man, it's always been bad. The commentators have always been awful. They are. I genuinely think you should have the option to mute them. Because as an England fan, I would.
Well, you do.
Gary Neville,
You've
gone.
got the mute
Yeah, I
button.
would. I would. I just no. But what I mean is, if I could just watch it and just hear the background of football and hear no commentators, I'd be quite happy because I think
I am.
Just Dutch or something. Just watching fucking Dutch.
not even that. Just literally, if I could hear the stadium and I could hear the actual football, but not have to listen to any commentators or pundits, class, I'd do that.
I will just put out there as well, right? Like I personally think Southgate's been a success. I don't remember a time being an England fan during my lifetime. At least I'm 27. Is a time where we not automatically expect, but are expectant of getting close to a final. We used to go, oh, wait till we get to the knockouts, we'll get knocked out straight away. I know the argument is we ain't versed anyone. I think that's a poor argument, to be honest with you. But we've been lucky with our draws, because we've always topped a group. It's been our own doing. The reason why we used to have hard draws before is because you used to fucking scrape through a group of like Trinidad and Tobago. It's like with Sven-Goran Eriksson. It's like, it wasn't good enough at the end of the day. I don't blame Southgate for that. He doesn't pick the draws at the end of the day. He can only play against what he play against. You look across the tournaments, he's not been good enough against the big teams. But at the end of the day, you also look at the fine margins that it is as well. And it's always going to be fine margins. If you look at that final last week, if Declan Rice's head is 2 inches to the left or right, we're into extra time and we could win that, and penalties or extra time. It's one of those. The final's not there to be played; it's there to be won.
I think this would been your worst tournament that I've seen. Like,
I'd say worst playing, most grit, most mentality. I think we've been the strongest mentally I think we've ever seen an England team.
Yeah, I tend to agree, but I can't get Bellingham's overhead kick up my head. It should never have happened. You can't have 4 defenders at the front post and leave 2.
No, but is that not going to the final whistle though, Gaff? That's what I'm saying. It's that mentality of they never stop till you get put out sort of stuff.
Yeah.
No, because I don't think that was England. I think it was it Slovakia you played? I think it was Slovakia shut off. I think
the difference is though, I think in the last minute to have the bottle to go for an overhead kick as well.
What I mean is, I've seen England teams whimper. Do you mean once Rooney got sent off against Portugal? That was shit. And then you watch the Iceland game in the 2016 Cup. That was fucking shit. And it's like, I've watched these England teams wither. Sorry, 2 seconds. I've seen these England teams wither when they're behind, and I didn't see that this tournament. We always gave it a go. And that is one thing I think Southgate's installed. I mean,
in like the last 5 minutes is how you played your football.
Yeah. What?
When you're, it's like boxing, right? It's like you take him to deep waters, and then you pour it on. That's all England did. But what I mean with this campaign is this is the worst that I've seen. There was no good performance, except for the final. The final was actually decent. I actually quite enjoyed that. Up to then, I just felt it was very.
We were better against the first half, at least against Switzerland. I think we were a lot better compared to our other games. But I would agree with you. The second half, we weren't great.
If anything else from Gareth Southgate's tenure, I think you can call us harder mentality-wise. We're not as wish-washy. We're more resilient. Because I'm sorry, England going into a quarter-final penalty kick, we'd lose before Southgate. Just on the nerves of it. But
I think the players that took penalties. So how many penalty shootouts did you have? 2?
1. No, 1.
Oh, was it 1?
Yeah, 1 against Switzerland.
Oh, was it for some reason I thought you had 2? The players that took the penalties, fair play.
Yeah,
I'm an Arsenal fan. I'm going to single him out. Saka. We all know the backlash you got after the last Euros and the times where he's took the penalties this Euros. You didn't think he was going to miss. And for such a young person to get racially abused for months, going on a year because of that, to stand up and go, oh, fuck, I'll take the penalty, go on.
What a brilliant segue.
I know.
So, thank you for that, Gav. The next topic is going to be Enzo Fernandes and the Argentina team. Got to be a bit careful what we say about this, although it is public video, so unfortunately, you can kind of just express your opinion. I'll let you two start. Basically, what it was a chant that started in the World Cup in Qatar, basically them slagging Mbappe off about his relations with a transgender, and then also mucking about with saying it isn't a French team, it's basically a team of Africans. I'll let you Go for it.
Right, okay, so to tiptoe with this, shall we? Right, so do I agree with the transphobic remarks? No, Mbappe can do whatever he wants to do in his social life. I don't really care. The comments about the French team basically being African. Do you know what, right? Obviously, me and you discussed this, and I've looked it up. A lot of them, a lot of the French team, sorry, are born in France. I get what they're
There's a way
saying,
of
though,
going about it.
because if you look back, a lot of them are born in France, but their next generation it's like Senegalese, and the problem I get is they're going, or let the French team play. And you sit there going, right, that's fine. But the problem is, if you're born in France, you are French. Is the way that works.
Thank you.
Right?
Yep.
But I do back the fact though that they do have a fair point when you sit there and you go, if these are players that have come up in the French colonies in Africa and then just play for France, then no, I don't agree with that at all.
But there's tons of that all over the place.
Thank you.
I don't know if you agree with Declan Rice. He played for Ireland, so is he not Irish? You've got Shea Adams that played for Scotland. He isn't Scottish. Lyndon Dykes, he's fucking Australian. Like
Conor Gallagher played for Scotland.
Conor, yeah, exactly.
The side of it that I make, right? So if you say for yourself, right, if you're half English and half Scottish, you have the right to choose between teams. I'm trying to think of two. If you're half Angolan, half Senegalese, right? I think they're both French colonies, and then you choose to play for France because you're a good player. For me, that's not right, because then you're not born in either.
But the thing is with international football, it's always been a thing because you can do that, but then you look at it close at home, right? You've literally got a player at West Ham that just picked Jamaica, and some argument is, oh, well, because he ain't getting the game for England, and Antonio has picked Jamaica because in his opinion he wants to play for a national team, and he is in his opinion he's dual nationality. If he isn't going to get a game for England, he wants to represent Jamaica. What's wrong with that?
It's happened for ages. You've got Eric Laporte, he was French, he's then Spanish. Diego Costa was Brazilian, then Spanish. You've got, as you said, Antonio went from England to Jamaica. Somebody else done it as well. There's plenty over history.
So for me, if it's by blood or you're born in the country, right, you should be able to play for the country. But I think if you're from one of their colonies and you're not born in the country and have no blood to it, then I don't agree with that. Because that's like us cherry picking, say, what, India used to be a British colony. So that's like us.
No. But you're going too wide with this.
No, but that's my opinion. If it's blood, or if you're born in the country, that's how it should work.
Yeah, because if you're looking at the players that have played for that France team, mate, the reason why they're playing for France is either because they've got parents who are French or they live in France. They haven't just grew up in Senegal and gone, you know what, I want to play for France. They're in France. They're a citizen of France. What's wrong with that?
To Ben, right? So you're born in Nigeria, say, but your dad's Nigerian, but your mum's English. But you were born in Nigeria, so do you have a duty for what you're saying to play for Nigeria and not take on your mum's side and play for England?
Choosing more personal. I was trying to be non-personal with it, but to be fair, right, for me, look at the best examples are Kevin Prince Boateng, because one of his brothers chose Germany and he chose the African side. I can't remember what country he played for now.
Ghana.
So that is a perfect argument because they literally split between the two. Because I believe they both had dual nationality or they both had dual citizenship.
It's multifaceted because so I personally think Enzo Fernandes apologising isn't good enough. When I mean this, as in by the way, I'm consistent with this because I thought it was right that John Terry never played for England again after he had his spat with Anton Ferdinand. Is if you are in a professional, I don't give a fuck if you just won a Copa America. You're in a professional capacity. And you have literally sprouted a racist chant. I don't care whether there's a certain meaning behind it or what, or you grab the merits. And the fact is you've played with some of these players that you're talking about at your club for a year, and the only time you feel comfortable with it. And he literally put this in his statement, was he felt basically comfortable with it, and he was too comfortable after he won a Copa America in his home country. I couldn't give a fuck.
No,
So he's saying
nothing
it's
to do with racist remarks, but
some racist.
that,
Because, in my opinion, if you're at your most comfortable and you're okay sprouting racism, then you're probably a racist.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a black and white area there. And the problem is as well, is I'll turn that round to me, you, and Ben, is if we done that in our jobs right now, we'd get sacked.
yeah, we'd be sacked instantly.
Bye bye.
Yeah.
So why are Chelsea have been very quiet on this on purpose, I think.
They just
I-
stand under the carpet.
Because Carlton Cole, I believe, said he should get sacked straight away. He should just get sold. He has no place in England. And do you know what I think this stems a bit further, right? Because is when fans see players doing this, fans know there's not going to be any repercussion to them either. So what's the problem then? Do you know what I mean? Because they could just turn around, right?
Sometimes I think if you're pinpointed, then you can prove you've done it. I think you can get a lifetime ban for the.
Yeah, but what
stadium.
I'm saying is, for example, right? So Man City, Liverpool. There was Man United, Liverpool last season. There was Hillsborough and Munich disaster chants, and as far as I'm aware, the 3,000 that went to Old Trafford weren't done with the weren't done for the chants. So where's the repercussion then?
But there isn't now. I think the problem is the freedom of speech side of it is too 50-50. They either come down far too hard on something that's very small, or they go the complete opposite way and they give no punishment for someone that needs to be punished.
Also, sorry as well, it looked like the whole Argentina squad were doing this. I will just put that out there. I don't want Enzo Fernandes to be the only one thinking. I know Romero wasn't in the picture. I don't think a video when it was taken. You got a couple of other. You got Julian Alvarez who was in that squad. Where are the apologies from them or the acknowledgements from them that the chant was being sung? Because it was on the coach bus, I think, after they'd won it. So all of them were there. So
I don't agree with racial abuse. The nationality side of it, if people want to have a deeper look into it, I don't have an issue with that. But I think if they want to set actual regulations for it, whatever. But I think, just coming out and making a racist remark and then just going, well, I was at home, so it's fine, is a stupid thing to say. It's just a.
Have you seen as well? Sorry, the sporting the Secretary of Sport the Undersecretary of Sport in Argentina put out that he thinks Lionel Messi as captain should apologise on behalf of Argentina, and he got sacked by the president.
Yeah, because but that also shows that Lionel Messi's too big.
It also shows that racism's absolutely in Argentina, mate. I'm sorry, I don't mean to sound horrible. Racism's everywhere, but. The Undersecretary has literally put a statement out going, I offer my resignation because I got told to rescind my statement and I'm not doing it. Good.
Yeah.
Okay, the problem I've got with football at the moment, right? Well, not at the moment, it's happened since they brought it in. Show, no to racism. Show no to racism. They take the knee at most Premier League games now. To do all this, but I'm sorry, taking a knee just isn't enough. No, it's still happening.
You need to punish these, mate. In my opinion,
the biggest problem is they fight it in the wrong ways. They don't fight it in the right ways. The way that they do it is
it's gestures, isn't it, rather than actions?
Yeah. So what they'll do is they'll go, all right, okay, so we're going to combat. No, they just go, we're going to combat racism, right? So you're going to take a knee during the game, and we're going to bring more people of colour onto a talk board, right? And they see that as combating racism. For me, I agree with Jay, right? Rather than all this people appeasement, scrap that crap and just go for the grassroots of, right, you're racist, all right, banned. Oh, you're racist, all right.
Yeah, throw the book at him. I am completely in agreement. Throw the book at him. And do you know what? I'd actually go a step. Do you know what? The perfect example of it is all gesture and no action was the Qatar World Cup. When they all said they were going to wear rainbow armbands, and literally our England team decided not to due to fear of getting a yellow card.
Yep.
Are you taking the piss?
No, to be honest, mate, they're all it's all bluff and blunder. They're all willing to do the little tiny gestures of, well, here's more people of colour on podcasts and the knees and the armbands, right? Until there is, well, you're going to get a yellow for that. It's like with the poppies. Oh, well, I'm not wearing. Oh, you can't wear a poppy. Yes, I can. It's not a political statement. I'm remembering my dead, and for me, it's the same sort of thing. If you come out and disrespect that, if you play in England, I think you should get a fine for that. So if racism,
no black and no white.
yeah, it's all. We represent anti-racism. but we're actually not going to do a lot. That's
You
where
know
it
how there
comes
was a
from.
thing. You know, there was a thing last season, back in the last season. Like there was a poll out about fans not liking all this politicising of football. Do you know what I genuinely think the actual root cause of that is? Is everyone looks at it and goes, "What is the point in taking the knee if every single time there is a major racism, a racist story from a player, nothing's done?" John Terry played for his club for another. All right, he denies the claims. There's video evidence that maybe supports against that. Anton Ferdinand also vehemently still swears that it happened. So, but he played. All right, he didn't play for his country, but he played for his club for another 200
Yeah, Luis
times.
Suarez.
Enzo Fernandes will not get sold this summer. Mark my
Luis Suarez
words.
is like an
Won't
example.
happen.
So how many? What did he get? Like a 2-month ban, 3-month ban, and a fine.
And by the way, Lionel Messi not coming out as the captain and apologising for his whole team doing that when he was probably part of it, I genuinely think.
Yeah, but mate, Messi's untouchable. The problem is with that.
Ben, but it's unreal. You're literally talking about a head of state backing a professional footballer over a racist story. What?
But look at they worship Messi. But in all honesty, mate, I think even if I wouldn't say Ronaldo would, but if Ronaldo come out and done this, mate, he'd get away with it. Like in all honesty, Messi's not going to get penalised for this. He's.
And did you see Enzo's statement?
Yeah,
It's piss poor.
He was like, you just know his lawyers read it up.
But the Americans,
and it took about 5 minutes. He took it from Google.
Who's the striker?
Do you know what I
Chelsea
mean?
at the moment came out and backed him.
I condemn any form of racism. Yeah, you do until you're back in Argentina, then you find it.
Jackson.
What are you on about,
Finny
mate?
Jackson at Chelsea came out and said he backed him. Finny Jackson, came out at but the Chelsea striker came out and backed him. So you sit there and there is no in between.
The question I've got, right, is John Terry, right? John Terry was fantastic. He was one of the best centre backs in Premier League history.
Mm-hmm.
But how can you trust that player? Like, they had so many black coloured players. John Obi Mikel, Didier Drogba, Ramirez. How can they fully trust that player? It's the same with Enzo Fernandes. How can they trust him to have their back off the pitch, on the pitch, personally?
I'm massively back Wesley Fofana, by the way. I unbelievably back Wesley Fofana. But do you know what makes me laugh? You've seen this time and time again in the Premier League, and probably the standout time was when Liverpool went to Man United and had those tops on for Luis Suarez, and they say 10 years later it was a mistake. Yeah. That's fucking not good enough. I'm sorry. And do you know what? You're going to fall into the same trap. Chelsea not bringing out an official statement about what's happening and the actions. I don't think it's good enough whatsoever.
When Balotelli was at City, Balotelli got monkey chance towards him. What is it? There's a banana thrown around the crowd. So you sit there and you just go like. But the problem is, mate. Yeah, I don't think it's just our leagues. I think the other leagues are just as bad for it. I just think the only thing is, it's not. It's more, we publicise it more ourselves. It's like we're like throwing ourselves under the bus. We make a big.
Yeah, but you got fans. You got fans that are justifying it, saying, "Oh, well, players ain't getting done, so why can't I do it?" That's what I mean. You need to blanket it. You need to. If fans are going to get reported for racist and whatever chants and offensive chants, then you need to go for the players as well, mate. They're professionals, mate. They are physically getting paid to play football.
I genuinely, nothing will happen, mate. It'll just get sold. That's all that will happen. It'll get flogged somewhere for dirt cheap, maybe half the price that Chelsea paid for him. Either that, or they'll do a Mason Greenwood and they'll ship him off on loan to somewhere.
I was just about to say that. But this is what I'm saying.
Give it a year,
it's time after time after time, isn't it?
Chelsea are more... I feel Chelsea are more like, they don't care what the public say about them.
Mad.
Man United, that was all about Greenwood. That was, we don't want the backlash. We want the fans and in the club to be united. The backroom at Chelsea and the management and the owners, they don't give a fuck.
Yeah, but then Man United, mate, they have the audacity to try and bring back Greenwood. Do you not see that leaked document about how to reintegrate him into the Man United squad? As soon as it was leaked, they're like, you know what, fuck that, we're sending him off. Funny that. You want to try it, you want to try and will your way to get him back in the squad, and then you sell him off as soon as it hits the public eye.
But if the Chelsea owner owns a Yank team, I wouldn't be surprised if he loans him out there for a year and then brings him back when it's all died down. Because let's face it, he's young enough that a year out in the MLS, what would that hurt?
It's just mad to me.
It would die.
It's just mad
my
to me that at
opinion, it
minimum he's going to play. He is probably going to play for Argentina again, and that just does not make any sense to me. On a base level, in my opinion, you shouldn't be
I think that also
thinking in your country.
depends.
But I know what's going to happen because they'd turn around and go, "We wouldn't have a team then because the old team was doing it."
It
Good. Don't
depends
have
on
a
the
team.
country's sentiment towards it as well, though, because that for me, right? We sit there and we condemn racism, right? As a country, we condemn racism, and I back that completely, right? But if most of the Argentina team have come out and done this, right, and the fans still
I
back
don't know how
them,
many players are in shot. To be fair, I will just say that I think about 5-6 players are in shot.
you
But
know what I mean?
from what is
If a
gathered,
lot of the
was
players
it a
have done
chant
it,
that the team
but
was
what I mean is, if a
chanting?
lot of the team have done it, right, and the country comes out and there's no issue with it at all, then you got to look at the country, mate. You can't just look at the
Well, then there
players.
clearly isn't. No, there clearly isn't, mate. Because at the end of the day, if a geezer in high office gets sacked due to asking the captain to fucking apologise, I mean, what state are you in? Do you know
They
what I
know
mean?
that then we got your answer to the question that they don't see an issue with it out there.
Mad.
It's just.
But by the way, he will get stick, I think, of every single fan probably if he does play for Chelsea next season. I can imagine. Ben, you wanted to bring something up, mate.
My thing is stars from the Euros. We've seen players come out here and there throughout the tournament where we think, Joe, what, they've actually been pretty decent. My biggest question, is there anyone that we saw during the Euros that we think is actually going to stay and like continue their form? Or do we think that they're just going to flop? I think the first two that come to mind is Yamal. Obviously, young star, been unreal during the tournament. I think he's played really well. But is this just a one tournament wonder, or is he just going to come out in the next season and be absolutely unreal? Like, I don't know where he's even playing at the moment.
I think the two most pressing cases were probably Calafiori for Italy. He's 22, and I think he's going to Arsenal. And you've got Yamal, who's obviously 16, and both of them had good domestic seasons before going in. All I would say is Yamal's obviously 16, so there's not much resume there for so he could drop he could do a Bojan, right, where Bojan really impressed at a young age at Barcelona and then ended up at fucking Sunderland. That Calafiori's a one good season at Bologna, and I believe he had a serious injury before that, so he's a bit of an unknown as well. I don't know. I'm very much. I look at James Rodriguez and that sort of thing, and players like that. I don't buy into tournament football for good
French
form.
striker came on a couple of times, wasn't it?
It's nothing on Yamal. Yamal was doing it for Barca, and he's been doing it for like the under 14s when he was playing there. He's got better and better and better. He hasn't been one of those where he's just sort of appeared on the scene, and this is all we're seeing. I think he saw it throughout the Euros. He got more confident and confident and confident and confident. Even in the final, you would never think he was 17. He was fucking.
He wasn't there for the first 50 minutes. He wasn't there for the first 50 minutes.
No, actually, I disagree. I think he was good. His confidence, he wanted to pick up the ball, he wanted to drive with it. Yeah, he might not have been successful enough because he kept getting past by Luke Shaw every
this
fucking 2
season,
minutes.
he's actually going to get any time on the ball with how young he is.
Yes, because he has been.
Can I?
He's been for Barca last season. He's done for the whole season.
I think with that young French forward that they brought on for Mbappe a couple of times, what was his name? Barcola. I think he looked really good as well. But I'm pretty sure he's at PSG, you know?
He's a hit and miss. I watched him at PSG in the Champions League.
The two standouts I'd love to see go on from this and use as a springboard is Xavi Simon. I think he's class. It's unreal. And then
springboard.
And Mark Guy.
Yeah, Guy.
Mark Guy looked. When I mean that, because people are going to go, "Oh, he's an established Premier League centre back." No. He's an established Premier League centre back at Crystal Palace. This man looked. I'm going to say it, he genuinely had some world-class performances for England. He looked fucking unreal.
Yeah, I agree. He was your best centre back in my opinion.
By far, as well.
Yeah. I think it might also be too early to tell. He's had one great season with Palace.
I disagree, man. He's been solid for about 3-4 years.
I wouldn't say solid. He's had holes. I've seen holes in his game, and he is improving every season that goes past. Completely get that. But if we're going on about players that they've hit one Euros or one World Cup and they've played well there and go on to fall off, I can see Gahey doing that. But I also see Gahey becoming one of the best in the Prem. It depends what path he takes.
For me, a player that I think done really well during the tournament, but that was crap before he got in the tournament, and I think he's going to go back to being crap, is Cucurella. I think last season he was guff for Chelsea.
Fuck off with that, by the way.
Shut up, you mug. You curly
the Cucurella chant, I absolutely fucking hate, and I hope Haaland scores like 7 past them because of that. I'm saying Cucurella, but what's that tune? Cucurella.
Do you know what that mean? Right? He had a good tournament, but he was crap before. He's going to be crap after. So when he has his stupid red guy there, he can shove it up his ass.
I don't personally think. I'm not going to lie here. Cucurella is one of them. I don't think he's particularly good for Chelsea. I didn't actually think he was particularly good at times for Spain. I think he got caught out quite a bit. But I think Rodri makes him look far safer than what he actually is.
I agree.
He's a player that I just wish hopefully finishes his career next year with an ACL probably.
ACL, DCL, both of them gone. There you go. Crawl. Sideshow.
See, I've got him that he only played about 45 minutes in the final, anyway, but I don't know how many minutes he played throughout the rest. Zubimendi. When Rodri... No, you've done this, and I know I mention him all the time. Rodri came off, and I thought, fuck, England's won it here. I honestly thought this is their way of getting back into the final. And you'd never think that Rodri was off, in my opinion. He done the exact same role to the exact same success. So why can he not be picked to be one of the best going forward?
Because he didn't do the same role. They went into a double pivot.
Well, no, he did. He commanded the midfield.
Yeah,
I mean that he commanded the midfield. His passing was almost the exact same success rate as Rodri. His tackling, I don't think he missed a tackle, and his intercepting was good.
Yeah, what I mean by that is that it's very hard to do a Rodri's job. They had to double up. They had to drop Ruiz further back to deal with it. But I get what you mean. He was still a good number 6. I'm not saying he wasn't a good number 6, but yeah, I get your point. My outstanding one, as I said, was Simons and also Gakpo. I'd love to see him roll on to Liverpool and do that, but maybe he is better off the left. Maybe that is his thing. Maybe he's better off the left. He doesn't play off the left very often for Liverpool.
But it's because they've got Diaz now. But then if Salah is going, which I don't think he is, have you seen the fucking haircut he's had? Jesus.
Yes. He's in his villain era. That's what it is.
Yeah. If Salah goes, do you put Luis Diaz on the right and put Gakpo on the left to fit him in?
Yeah, if he can play there. If he can play there, I think so, yeah.
I think, yeah. I'd love to see Xavi Simons in the Prem. I've watched him at Leipzig in the PSV and stuff, and he's been class. That's what I said before. He doesn't need a springboard. His ceiling's already fucking high. And if his ceiling has been put up, he's splashed on
Danny Olmo.
So
Danny Olmo was unbelievable for Spain.
Yeah, Danny Olmo's been known for years, mate. Joe's problem with Danny Olmo is he just
injuries.
But he's also an awkward player to fit in your team. Because he's not quite a number 9, but he's not quite a number 10. He's this horrible in between. It'd be brilliant at a false 9. I genuinely think. See, when Klopp was at Liverpool, I think he could have done a Bobby Firmino job.
I think he tried to sign him. I think there was talks about that happening, and it never did.
It's unreal, I think.
His release clause is now off the table. 60 million euros it was. It went away last night. Whatever the fucking word for it is. Can't think of the word.
Went away.
It went away.
Expired. Fucking hell. We do a podcast, by the way. Is there anything else you guys want to cover?
Mate, I was up to 4 last night. Give me a break. No, I think we've covered it. Eddie Howe's coming in, winning the next fucking World Cup. Enzo Fernandes is getting done for racism. Messi's too big for Argentina. And Calafiori is an unknown if he joins Arsenal.
He's Zinchenko V2. Right, we'll leave it there, shall we? Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe and like, because Gavin will enjoy it. And apart from that, we'll be more active now because the season's coming back.
Hey.
And Julie Lopetegui's in the Premier League, isn't he? Come on, you Irons. Cheers, lads.